Welcome to Butterfield Backstage Banter, the BSP podcast where host Jessica DeMent is joined backstage by her guests to banter about theater at Butterfield in Gainesville, Texas.
Hello and welcome to Butterfield Backstage Banter. I am your host, Jessica DeMent, and today I am joined by the famous Gainesville photographer, Tony Avila. Tony, hello, and thank you for joining me today.
Thanks for having me.
It's so nice to have you in front of the camera instead of behind it where you're usually comfortable.
Yeah, give me behind the camera every day.
Well, I'll try not to hold you in front of the camera for too long today. Before we begin too much, can you tell me a little bit about your background with photography?
Started shooting photos when I was in high school, when I first moved here, with a film camera, and I lived out in the country, and that was the only thing I had to do, so I just picked it up and started photographing everything from animals to people, and that's how it started. And that was a long time ago.
And what was it about photography that made you want to continue in it and turn it into a career?
Well, it was one of those things I enjoyed doing it, like when I was in high school. And then you have kids and you get busy, but then the kids, you start taking pictures of the kids, and then digital came out, and it's like, oh, okay. This is kind of fun. I kind of remember this was kind of fun to do. So
sorry, Devin is over there dancing. Sorry, y'all. I don't mean to be rude. Devin. I'm so sorry about that. And how did you go from slowly turning that into a career to basically becoming Gainesville's photographer?
Well, I don't know if I'm Gainesville's photographer, but thank you. By photographing a lot of things, I started taking pictures, like I said, of the kids and stuff, and then I started doing things in Gainesville and around Gainesville. And one of my mentors was like, "You should do portraits." And I was like, I don't know. For many of you who remember Don Hunter, a photographer here in Gainesville, he said, "You should do portraits." And I was like, I just didn't want to do boring portraits. But now it's my favorite to do. So.
And you do a lot of wonderful portraits.
So.
Talk to me a little bit about the doing photos for Butterfield and kind of the difference in doing that compared to just portraits and other photography.
Oh, the difference is they all have the same similar thing. They have a subject, composition, and light. Those three things. Now, when you're photographing a high school senior, obviously it's usually a more intimate setting where you have one person and it's you're capturing their style and that type of thing and that memory, as opposed to when you're doing a Butterfield play, it is a lot of things going on at once. And you can't hit the pause button. I have to catch it when it happens. Like, hey, back, can you do that scene again? It doesn't work that way. So you have to really kind of be on your toes when you're shooting the plays.
Mm-hmm. And how long have you been shooting plays for Butterfield?
I have been the Butterfield photographer since 2011, I believe. It started with Hairspray. My wife was doing the makeup and the wigs for that show. And I was already taking photos at that point, but I thought, let's give it a try, just to capture that memory or whatever. And the next thing I knew, they were like, "Hey, will you do all of our shows?" And, I think right now I'm sitting at about 97 shows.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Because that was 2011.
Yeah.
So 13 years I've been doing it officially. So.
That's so many shows. Do you have a favorite show that you've shot for Butterfield?
Ooh, favorite shows. Probably a lot of people's favorite shows, like The Creature Creeps, just because of the style of it and the stage and all that stuff. Sweet Charity was a great show because of the volume of things that were happening with the dance, and Alfred had people in different kinds of dance and different wardrobes, and it was different scenes. It seemed like every 10 minutes I was trying to find another angle, and it was talk about dynamic. It's a different animal to try to capture. Those two are really great.
That's awesome. Was there a show that you found particularly challenging to try to get the photos for?
probably one of my early shows, Oklahoma, was probably challenging only because of the number of people. There's like 30 people on stage, and you always want to try to get at least one of everybody, right? But Sweet Charity was probably the biggest challenge, but biggest reward also because there was so much happening, and but I'm able to move around when I photograph dress rehearsal. I usually do dress rehearsal. I don't usually shoot the play because I want to move around and not be in people's way. But the actors still don't wait for me.
Yeah,
they're doing dress rehearsal, so I can switch lenses. I can bop around the studio and really get fun shots. So it was, Oklahoma was fun because of that reason and a challenge, but so was Sweet Charity. It's all fun. It's just so I'm envious of the people who do it. I'm just happy they do it and I get to do my part.
Well, it is fun being on stage too. So. But I know, having been in numerous shows that you have photographed, it's so great to be able to have your photographs that you've done because one, they're always amazing. You always do such a great job photographing the shows. But then from an actor standpoint, I always tell people, with theater, a lot of times we're creating art, but once the show is over and we strike the set, there's nothing tangible to the art that we created.
Yes.
And, and there's so many other forms of art that when it's completed, you have something tangible as a memory. And with theater, we only have the memories. So getting to have, those photographs kind of gives us that little bit of tangibility to the art we've created.
I think the people on stage like to see it, after the fact, and of course the community, because like I said, I photograph dress rehearsal, and there's two reasons I do that. One reason, like I said, to move around on the stage, in the audience, I can do that in the seating area, but also then I can put them out for the community to see, to be like, you really need to see this. This is really great.
Yeah.
Sometimes, just words don't do it justice.
That is very true. I know from a marketing perspective as well, I'm very thankful to have your photos because they're such a great thing for us to share and show the community and help generate that interest and that talking for the show. I know with the Wolves, we had you come in and do some promo shots.
Right.
So talk a little bit about how that's different, because I know that with that, it was really, for those who have seen it, they look more like your sports photos that you do with the school and stuff, and less like the traditional photos that we see for our shows.
Well, the difference between a promo and the show is a promo is easier because we can just stop and set up and, okay, redo that one again or whatever. And you can take a little more time doing it, whereas on the fly, you're doing the show and you just have to go with it and hope you get everything.
Yeah.
But it does look a little bit like my sports work since the Wolves is soccer players. So I thought, why not? We can make it look like that and kind of trick it up a little bit. Yeah. With lighting, smoke, and fun stuff like that.
Yes, well, those are very fun pictures. They're very, very cool. Yes, I really enjoyed them. Allison had told me about the concept beforehand, and I was like, oh, I love that. And then when I actually saw the results, I was like, these are so great. So that was such a fun thing.
Got to get the word out.
Yes, absolutely. Well, talking about getting the word out, can you tell me a little bit about your business and, like your social media and how people could go about hiring you if they are looking for a photographer?
Okay. My company, Avila Art, it's my last name and art put together. And you can go to my website, Avil'Art, and on Facebook, you can go to my website, which is Avil'Art. It's those two words put together, .com, and you can see my portfolio, if you will. Facebook's always a great way to see the portfolio, especially if you want to look at Butterfield pictures or something. But I photograph everything from products to people to actors. So my portfolio is pretty wide. So that's where you can see it. I'm on Instagram. Go to Avila, AVILA_photography. You can see stuff there. And there's a TikTok link on there on my Facebook and all the good stuff. I don't do Snapchat. I'm too old for Snapchat. So.
That's fair. I'll go ahead and make sure to get all of those links and share them in the information box below for our audience. And then to wrap up, can you tell our audience why you think they should come and see the Wolves?
Why should you come see the Wolves? Well, Great selection of actors. I got to see every one of them. It's going to be downstairs, right?
Mhm.
So it's a little different than your normal Butterfield experience. It's a great. I like talk about an intimate setting. The small stage downstairs. You have to try it. Great actors. It'll be fun. It'll be a lot of fun. And that's just based on me being down there photographing for an hour and a half.
Yep. Absolutely. Well, Tony, thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate it. Folks, you can go ahead and buy tickets online at butterfieldstage.org, or you can call the box office. All the information will be in the box below, as will links to Tony's social media, so y'all can check out his incredible artwork and maybe give him a call if you're looking for a photographer yourself. Thank y'all so much for joining us today. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you at the theater.
And get your tickets for the Wolves.
Yes, and get your tickets for the Wolves. Thank you, Tony. Y'all have a great day. Bye.
Thank you for joining us. For more information, please visit butterfieldstage.org.